Hi and welcome back to the channel. Now I'm a landscape photographer, but recently I did something quite different and entered a 48-hour film competition. As photographers, I think it's important to occasionally step outside of what we usually do and challenge ourselves. We also stand to learn a lot from films. There's an awful lot of crossover between stills photography and cinema photography. Choice of lens, composition, lighting, they're all transferable skills. Of course, with video and filming, you've got the additional elements of potentially camera movement, but not always necessarily, and also the element of time, so telling a story over time. Talking of telling stories, I mean, both stills and cinema photography aim to tell a bit of a narrative or convey an emotion or tell a story at their basis. And I've recently started using an online service called Shotdeck, which is basically a collection of thousands of stills from movies, from TV shows, even adverts, and they're a really good collection of great shots with excellent composition and lighting. It's a really good way to stimulate ideas or even to take a note of particular scenes or frames from movies that inspired you or gave you ideas for shots. And learning video has actually helped my professional work because I can add on to commercial shoots the option of shooting video. So there's never been a better time for stills photographers to dabble in videography, because most of the cameras we buy these days shoot just as good a video as they do stills, and also very good videos available on smartphones, on action cameras. It's a really good time to dabble in it, and you don't need to invest much just to get started. So a little bit about the 48-hour film competition. It's been running in New Zealand for 22 years, and over that time it's produced 10,000 short films. And the basic premise is, on Friday night at 7 p.m, each team is given a genre and also 4 elements which must be in the movie, and I've put my genre and elements up on screen. And then each team has 48 hours until 7 p.m. on Sunday night to produce a short film between 1 minute and 5 minutes long with those elements and in the genre. So I got eliminated in the first round of heats, and of course I felt a bit despondent, but not for long, because there's so many positives to take away from an experience like this. There's the learning I gained from such a hothouse environment, having to make decisions quickly, not being able to procrastinate, and even just getting something in on the deadline was an achievement, I think. As well as that, what's been really useful or gratifying is all the feedback I've got from other teams and other videographers, which has been really helpful and will help me in the next one to polish what I'm doing and come up with something better. And it was just a lot of fun. And the thing about entering competitions is you don't enter to win, you enter to get your work out there and potentially get feedback from your peers and the judges. Also, having a deadline really does force you to complete something and just put it out there and see how it goes. You know, if you get a win, that's a bonus, and it is a numbers game. The more you enter, the luckier you'll get over time. For example, just recently I heard a couple of my images amongst the finalists for the New Zealand Geographic magazine Photographer of the Year, so that's exciting. So in case you're interested, here's my 2-minute entry into this year's 48-hour film competition. So let me know what you think, and any hints or feedback for improvement would be greatly appreciated. Little prick.
Ha!
And on the subject of giving ourselves challenges, recently I've given myself a challenge of finding a new viewpoint on the Port Hills, which is a location close to home I visit often, but I do tend to go back to the same places. So of an afternoon last week, I hiked and biked to a new location, and it's really promising. And what I found from the location was, although I got some quite nice shots and worked out how to get there and how long it takes, I'm really better off going back in about a month's time when the sun will be rising directly down the harbour, because it's a harbour view. So quite interested to head back there and see what I can get when the sun's in a much more promising position. So I'd be interested to know if any of you have any challenges that you set yourself to develop or grow as photographers. Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.